Okay. Yes. Is it white balance we're trying to do, or are we trying to do pink balance? Because I am seeing so many pink pictures. Who gets pink pictures? There's more than just one of you. More than just one of you. And we're even, is there any editors? Is Simon here tonight? Anybody from Dive? Anybody from Diver? Sport Diver? Okay, great. We're starting to see pink pictures in magazines. And it's as though it's, oh, that's normal, you know, it's pink, because it's been happening ever since digital came out, and it's an error in white balancing. And I'm grateful to Howard Bayliss. Is Howard here tonight? Okay. He doesn't know I'm using his pictures. I'm grateful to Howard Bayliss, who came on a course, and he said, I keep getting these pink pictures, and then next moment it's fine, and I don't know what I'm doing. And there we've got a little bit of pink in the diving bubbles, and we've got some pink in the sunlight. White balance, we've got a bit of pink there, and all of a sudden he's done something and he's got a nice blue. There's a tad little pink on the sand down there, but in general that's not bad, that's quite natural to the eye. What has happened is this: white, custom white balancing, what you keep reading about everywhere you go, white balance this, white balance that, you don't need a flash gun. Yes, you do need a flash gun, okay. White, but I can be so controversial, can't I? I'm sorry. White balance works when the sun is at your back. That's when it really works well. And when the sun is at your back and you're looking into blue, you'll find that the blue takes on a really good visibility kind of blue, vibrant water feeling. And when you turn back into the sun, that blue water, that vibrant, it goes and it gets washy-washy. It's not because the vis is any different, it's because of where the sun is. So, if you don't know this, you just go white balance over the place, and you'll take your white balance off the sand or wherever, and if the sun is in front of you or up there, 10 meters away, then the temperature, the white balance colour temperature of that sun coming through the surface bears no resemblance to what you're white balancing on the sand, and that goes pink. You just turn away from it, and that's when you get your good, vibrant and white balances that have worked. And that's worked for Howard. This is on the same dive. He came down with pictures, and I picked pictures on the same dive. He says, I haven't got it on this shot, I haven't got it. And even though we've got a tad up here of light, that is not the sun, that's just bright surface. The sun is at his back, and he's white balanced, and he's got quite a natural effect on this white sand. Other than that, it's not a lot going for it, but he's got a good Tony as well gave me some pink pictures, and then again, not on the same dive, because those are the ones in Stony Cove, and that's not Stony Cove. And he's turning in the right direction, and he's getting a kind of just a normal blue. So when you get your pink pictures, that's what's gone on. And this was a picture that I took, and I don't know what had happened, but I think I must have left my white balance on something else, and I took that on land, and everything's pink, including my wife's bum. Okay, so sun behind, slightly downward angle, and if I really like into it and I want to get a good natural light picture, I will, if I change my depth by more than 2 meters, I will white balance again. I don't take down a card, I do it on my hand. And if the subject is near enough for the composition, I'll white balance off the subject. I don't do any of this off white or grey stuff at all. I just do it off my hand, wherever. So, very familiar picture, guy on his steam. And you see these pictures, and it's the one that Mustard, he's not here, I can use his surname. He's the one that Mustard uses on his magic filters. This shot is an afternoon shot. Well, in June it's an afternoon shot. It's probably the same all the time. When the sun is at your back. Yeah. It's an afternoon shot. In the morning, you can't do that shot because the sun is up there and you get the sun and you can't bring out that texture in the guy on his D. So it took me a while to get to grips with magic filters. And a couple of years ago, I wrote off 6 dives in Bali just to get to grips with them because I couldn't, and people were saying, I can't get them to work. And I had a go, not a very good go, but I couldn't get them to work, so I thought, right, I'm gonna get this in the bag. And I wrote off 6 dives, and at the end of it, I went back to the instructions, and everything I had to do was all in the instructions. Slightly downward angle, sun at your back, recalibrate at every a metre and a half, 2 metres. I think from memory, they work in 17 metres, but 20 metres for starting to fail. This is magic filters. And then they start at about 2 or 3 metres. They do work, they work great, but that's why you get the pink pictures, because you're shooting into the direction of light that is too variable. So again, Truck Lagoon, just lucky that the sun was in a good position to get that kind of shot. That's quite deep. So the deeper you are, the greater the angle of the sun, so it doesn't affect it as much when you shoot slightly down. Are you all with me on this? Yeah. This up here is not sunlight, it's just the surface. This is BSoUP. Sun at the back to do these jacks, as I call them. And again, as soon as they start to turn around in front of you and you're facing the other way, it'll more often than not go pink. Again, BSoUP here, got some great corals, could only do them in an afternoon. Could only do this shot in the afternoon because it's very shallow, and the best angle of composition to get the corals in the foreground. In the afternoon, the sun was at my back. And the same there. You also get pink when you leave your flash guns on, because you calibrate your white balance and all that's done, but the temperature of light, the colour of light that's coming out of your flash gun is again nothing like daylight, and more often than not you get pink pictures, and that's pink with the flash. This is not magic filters, this is just natural light. I'm in about 4 or 5 metres of water, and I've got this kind of seascape that just goes on, and again, you have got there how it looks to your eye. Sun is at my back. Okay, that's that. There we go. Okay. This is something I am very, very guilty of, and some of these things come out of what I do on my faults and fixes, and this is one of mine. The bigger the coral, I've got to photograph. You know, and you know, I blame blooming dive guides for this. Any dive guides in tonight? Okay, I blame dive guides for this, because come down to 20 metres and there's this fantastic massive gorgonia, we've all been there, haven't we? And we all go down and it's huge. And what happens? Down to 20 metres, you have to back off to get it in with your fisheye lens. You end up being 2-3 metres away. It's too far away. The subject is just too big. And this was a great bit of fan coral, massive it was, a really, really large bit, but it doesn't look like that to the eye, you just see it as a bit of coral. You don't really know, unless there's something in it to give it scale, you don't really know how big that is, which they'll come back to that because that's how you get around it. But my flash gun just is not, it just couldn't reach. It's trying to, but I'm just too far away. Again, I've got these gorgonias and I'm trying to get them all in. I'm probably 4 metres away. And the flash, it doesn't matter what kind you've got, how powerful, there is too much water. And it's this big is great, you know, oh, it's massive, let's go down and photograph it. You also don't know the scale of this, but it looks to the eye that it's quite spacious and quite big. Well, it's not, it's probably, as I call it, the Goldilocks. It's just right, it's just nice, it's not too big. I'm about probably a metre away. My flash guns have got about 3 feet to travel and I'm getting a lot in and I can light them. And same with this. This was some coral reef on the seabed at BSoUP. And when we went there last time, the visibility was excellent. You could almost see this from the pier. And it was one of those things, it was quite large, but it was doable. And I used to take people down to that particular formation, which is a very tricky lighting, and I probably haven't nailed it there either. And it's one of those things. This is, you don't want to be any farther away than something like this. Take it by all means, but don't expect to nail it. So, big isn't always beautiful. You can show displays of the reef and of things like this. You can demonstrate those displays without just picking massive subjects. This was quite, it's not a tight crop, but this wasn't a big area, but it still shows the reef, and if you get a few antheas about. So some of your, not that any of you have got any underexposed pictures, but some times when you're just not happy with the lighting that you may have on these corals, on colourful things, nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with your flash guns or your aperture, anything like that, probably just too far away because you've tried to get too much in for your lens. Okay, lighting. How are we doing for time, JP? All right?
Another 5 minutes?
Yeah, sure. I'll do lighting and I'll stop. Okay. Right. I want a name for this. In fact, this is from what's a Yusenko. Because this is where you look down in the water, the shots are coming all past your head and like creating that effect. And I haven't got a name for it. Go on, Ken.
I call it negative snell.
Negative snell. Do we know whether there's a proper word for this? Brian or Linda or Collie? We see it all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Race, sunrise.
Seabird.
Seabird. Oh, okay, so we're going to have to think of a name. Okay. Not now, we're not. But okay. Yeah, Ken calls it negative snell. What happened? Ken sent me a picture. He said, "My negative snell picture." I thought, what is that? And I had a look at it, and I don't think it was that shot, but it was one like it.
Similar to it,
yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, my goodness, what do you call it? I don't know. I didn't know it was called that. So, yeah.
You very often have your own shadow in it as well, because you've got to be absolutely on the top of it.
Yes.
Because if you go down, swim straight to the point, turn around and look up, there's snell.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Or it's cone rays.
Yes, or Sullivan Snell, how about that? Okay, we'll give that a bit of